Welcome back, guys, to my channel. This is the final section of part 3 of our NEBOSH IGC October 2021 Open Book Examination Walkthrough. In this section, we are going to complete the remaining questions and focus on how to develop answers that are scenario-based, structured, and aligned with the NEBOSH marking approach. At the end of this video, I will share with you the golden tips on how to pass NEBOSH IGC examination in your very first attempt. So, question 5 talks about, based on the scenario only, what are the indicators of a negative health and safety culture at the recycling and reuse center? And this goes for 5 marks. Now, remember, in case they ask about anything to do with negative indicators of health and safety culture and you don't find that you remember them very well, you can always use your course notes, because you're free to use your course notes, or you can go and search on Google the negative indicators of HSE in an organization. Today I'm going to be using again the Greenwald Group page, and they're telling you the negative indicators of HSE. We have high accident stroke incident rates. We have increased absenteeism and staff turnover due to accidents. Okay, poor reporting of accidents or incidents. We have lack of employee engagement, that is, for example, in undertaking or formulating risk assessments. Number 5, we have lack of proper training to employees. And then we have lack of visible leadership support. All right. Inadequate resources for safety. Let us say we don't have the right first aid kits, we don't have the fire extinguishers, low participation in safety programs, and all these points are points to do with negative indicators of health and safety culture. Remember, every time you use a website or any other information source, remember to always reference it below as you're submitting your answer sheet. To answer the question, the negative safety culture indicators using the golden NEBOSH answering technique, the point, scenario link, and explanation. So, my introduction, of course, as usual, the following are the indicators for a negative safety culture at the recycling and reuse center. Number 1, lack of emergency preparedness and training. Now, based on the scenario, the workers at the reuse and recycling center were not trained on how to handle emergencies and had never practiced handling such situations. Now, this indicates inadequate emergency training and preparedness, hence a key weakness in safety culture. This is a typical example of a golden answer that gets you a complete 1 mark without the examiner asking himself, what does he mean? What is this? Okay. Number 2, outdated health and safety policy and procedures. Again, the scenario link, based on the scenario, the last HSE policy was signed by the previous manager who retired in 2015. This implies that the current outdated HSE policy does not reflect the current risks at the workplace, making it irrelevant. This is an indicator of a negative safety culture. Again, I've used the golden NEBOSH answering technique, which is the point, scenario link, and then the explanation, giving me 1 complete mark. Remember, this question is 5 marks, so they want basically 5 answers. Number 3, poor maintenance of safety signage. Based on the scenario, the PPE safety signs are faded and hard to read and understand, meaning they are not doing what they should be doing to create awareness about the use of PPE. This indicates a lack of attention to effective safety communication, reducing the effectiveness of controls. This also shows a negative safety culture. Again, giving the examiner a complete point with an explanation while linking it to the scenario is just enough for him to give you a complete mark without having any queries at the back of his mind. I have given you 3 complete points, but I have also left for you 2 other points that you can beef on and add flesh to them using the point scenario link explanation to give you complete answers that give you full marks. Remember, you can always add 1 more 2 points to make them 7 if you have them and if you have time. Question number 6 talks about information given to contractors before starting work. The manager meets the contractors the moment they arrive on site to do the safety sign repair work. The question goes as, what health and safety induction information is the manager likely to give to the contractors before they are allowed to start the repair work? And it goes for 10 marks. To answer this question, we are going to use the point scenario, reason, golden, tip. The introduction goes as, the following is the information the manager is likely to give to the contractors during the induction before they start the repair work. Number 1, this is very direct, the site hazards and risks. Based on the scenario, now I'm linking the scenario to my point. Based on the scenario, the site has moving vehicles, skips, ramps, and public interaction continuously. This implies a continuous risk exposure to various risks such as accidents from moving vehicles in the parking area. Discussing the risks and hazards creates awareness and understanding to the contractors, thus ensuring their safety during the work periods. Okay, this is a small typo, but this is a clear answer. The next answer goes as traffic management arrangements. Now, this is the point, and then based on the scenario, the reuse and recycling center operates a one-way system with slow moving vehicles, speed retarders, and separate access for industrial vehicles. This indicates a high interaction between vehicles and people. Explaining traffic rules to contractors will help them understand how to move safely around the site and avoid collisions or being struck by vehicles, hence ensuring their safety. All right? These 2 points I've given you earn you full marks without the examiner questioning what you mean. Explain to the examiner as simple as possible for him to understand what you mean. Emergency procedures, that's the next point. Based on the scenario, there was a near miss incident where workers had not practiced emergency response. This shows the importance of informing contractors about emergency arrangements and ensures they know how to respond quickly and effectively in case of an incident. Why? Because emergencies are not planned. This earns you a full complete mark with this golden answering technique that I've given you up here. Number 4, restricted areas and site layout. Based on the scenario, the areas of the skip zone below the platform are inaccessible to the public because they are not trained to handle the risks associated with that area. This means there are controlled zones within the site. Explaining this helps contractors avoid dangerous areas and work within safe boundaries. These are very easy points as long as you explain them to the examiner that this is what I understand. He will give you the complete mark without thinking twice. Number 5, first aid arrangements. Linking the scenario. Based on the scenario, one of the public members was involved in an incident needing assistance after being trapped by the waste bag's handle. This indicates the potential for injuries on site. Informing contractors about first aid facilities ensures a quick response in case of injury. This question requires you to give 10 points because it's giving 10 marks. I've given you 5 complete points, but also given you further 5 points that I need you to work upon and explain them like how I've done so that you can be able to train prior to your examination. Now, last but not least, number 7, the manager's reasoning for a health and safety policy review. Based on the email sent by the manager in the scenario, what is likely to have prompted the policy review? And this goes for 15 marks. Breaking down this question for somebody to understand it very easily, they want you to give the reasons as to why the HSE policy should be reviewed and updated. Again, it takes you back to the golden answering tip, the point, scenario link, as well as explanation. The very first point is that it is outdated, the outdated HSE policy. Based on the email in the scenario, the HSE policy was signed by a previous manager who retired in 2015. This shows that the policy has not been reviewed for a long time and is not relevant to the current risks at the workplace. Reviewing it ensures it remains current and relevant to present operations, hence ensuring safety. Remember, give the point, link the point to the scenario, right, up to here, and then explain why an outdated HSE policy needs reviewing and updating. Number 2, legal requirement review policies. This is the point. The scenario link, based on the email, the manager stated that health and safety legislation requires policies to be written, implemented, communicated, and reviewed by the management. This implies that reviewing the HSE policy is a legal obligation and ensures compliance with current health and safety laws. Give the point, link the point to the scenario, and then lastly, explain your point for the examiner to give you 1 complete mark without having to think twice. Number 3, changes in management and workforce. The scenario link now, the email also highlights that new managers are promoted and others are transferred to other recycling centers. This suggests organizational changes. Reviewing the policy ensures roles and responsibilities are clearly defined and relevant to current personnel. All right. This again earns you a complete mark because I've given the point, I've linked the point to the scenario, and lastly, I've explained my point. It may not matter on how you juggle the point, scenario, and explanation, but as long as all the 3 are within that complete answer of yours. Number 4, changes in working patterns. To link this to the scenario, based on the email, workers and managers have introduced different working hours and days to meet public demand. This indicates operational changes at the reuse and recycling center. Reviewing the policy ensures it reflects actual working conditions and associated risks. We well know that if the working patterns change, that means the risks also change. So in that case, you have to update the HSE policy so that it reflects the new risks that are being encountered. Number 5, introduction of new equipment, in brackets, skip moving vehicles. The scenario link: based on the email, the center has taken delivery of new vehicles operating around the skips. This introduces new hazards and risks. Reviewing the policy ensures new risks are identified and controlled effectively. This I have answered using the NEBOSH golden answering technique, which is the point followed by the scenario link, and then lastly, the explanation or the reason. I have given you an extra of 10 points for this question, which I need you to go and read and beef them up using the NEBOSH golden answering technique, which is here. And I can guarantee you that the examiner will give you the solid 15 marks. To conclude on this paper or the answer sheet, remember to always include your word count. It is okay as long as your word count is beyond 3,000 words, because you have clearly explained to the examiner what your point is and how you've thought about it. Don't also forget to reference any documents and sources of information. For this particular examination, I've used the internet and course notes, which I've written here. I will be sharing with you the golden tips at the end of the video. Before we finish, I want to share with you some golden tips that can help you improve your chances of passing the NEBOSH IGC examination within your very first attempt. Tip number 1, read the scenario twice. Do not rush into answering the questions. The scenario contains important information that you need to identify before you start writing your answers. A second read helps you understand the situation better and identify key details that you may have missed the very first time. Now, tip number 2, highlight both the positive and the negative information in the scenario. Use different colors of your choice to separate good practices from poor practices, hazards, weaknesses, and areas requiring improvement. This makes it easy to refer back to the scenario when developing your answers. Tip number 3, read every question twice. Many candidates lose marks because they misunderstand what the question is asking. Take time to identify the command word, the topic being tested, and the specific information required before you start answering. This is a very most important point. Use the point, scenario, link, reason technique. Do not just write health and safety knowledge. Always make sure your answer contains the point you are making, the link to the scenario, the reason stroke explanation showing why it is important. Remember, NEBOSH rewards application, not just memorized information from your course notes. Number 5, if you do not understand the question, use reliable sources such as Google to clarify the meaning. The aim is to not copy answers, but to make sure you understand what the question is asking before you respond. Tip number 6, prevent, present your work professionally. Make your answers neat and easy to read. Use clear formatting, appropriate spacing such as 1.5 line spacing. Justify your work where possible and maintain consistency by using one font color, black, throughout your submission. Finally, remember this is important. Do not assume the examiner can read your mind. The examiner is marking hundreds, if not thousands, of scripts within a limited time. Your job is to clearly explain your thoughts and make your answers easy to follow and easy to award marks for. A well-structured answer does not only demonstrate your knowledge, it also helps the examiner quickly see why you deserve marks. Thank you for watching, and I wish everyone preparing for the NEBOSH IGC examination the very best of success. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe. See you on the next one.